Information. I'm sharing my screen. Just confirm me whether you are able to see that or not. Hope everybody is able to see my screen.
Yes,
This
sir. The
is
screen is visible.
okay. Yeah. Thanks for the confirmation, Shiva. All right. This is Srinivas Singireti. I'm an architect in Clorox. Mostly that I'm working with automation, DevOps, and DevSecOps in my industry. Today, I'm planning to cover introduction to the DevOps as well as the CI/CD. Uh, I mean DevOps lifecycle and the different tools which we are using it in the DevOps industry. And also, I mean, this is just a fundamentals. I'm planning to cover more in detail in next sessions as well. I can post the same thing um, once which is available. I mean, like a in the YouTube or whatever the sessions that I'm conducting it that I'm planning to post it in the LinkedIn. In case if you guys get a chance, just subscribe in the YouTube. If not, I'm also that you can follow through the LinkedIn. Yeah, basically like today the whatever that I'm planning is like the DevOps lifecycle, CI/CD automation, and the key tools. Like the importance of the DevOps, as you guys know, like most of the stuff, like especially when it is coming to the evaluation, so there is a coordination required between the platform engineering and operations as well as the development team. So when they are developing any kind of application or they're doing any engineering activities, they should follow certain guidelines. Of course, people can work in the silos, but they have to interact with the um, integration team or the development testing team or the delivery team at a certain point of time to make sure like whatever the product that they're building, it should be productized or the application or whatever the infrastructure, whether they are delivering it or not. I mean, whether they are delivering to productize it, they have to interact with the multiple teams. To bridge the gap between all these teams, DevOps are formed. So basically like DevOps is a set of practices that combines the development and IT operations to enhance the software delivery, speed, quality, and reliability. Coming to the evaluation side, traditionally for the software development lifecycle, generally used to follow the waterfall method, SDLC, I mean, whatever the slow and I mean, like the process which is defined for the software delivery process, like the waterfall and other SDLC cycles that used to follow. But as we know, like waterfall model is slow and rigid process, and again shifted to the agile methodology, which is faster, but development team and operations team is still separately they are working. Sorry, guys. Yeah, but in this case, DevOps came into the picture to integrate the development and operations for continuous delivery. Why we need a DevOps? So the need for the DevOps, like we need faster software releases. I mean, generally it used to take months to make it weeks and days. Um, for that reason, DevOps came into the picture. And also, since it is a part of every stage of the activity for the now development and the operations and even the quality team and all, it reduces the failures because in this process, we in the sense like DevOps team we interact with the development team and the quality team, they will make sure like whether what are the modules that they're building it, they will be automating some of the testing as well as deployments. Earlier, we used to call it as like unit testing, right? So that we have that stubs and people used to write their own. But here in this case, it's like DevOps team can write automated test cases who the people who are developing what kind of feature. So that they will test it through this automation test scripts. Whenever they do any modification, any enhancement they will make sure like that he's been following and the results are being captured and it is not going any side effects with the recent changes and all. So when we get into the deeper session in my next following session, we can have some examples where I can explain exactly like how it's impacting and how the flow is happening. And also, I mean, like DevOps is the another good process where it improves the collaborations between the development team, operations team, and the security team as well. Even now, the security is coming into the picture where it has to follow certain guidelines, especially while we are developing the code and making it as a productized before deploying it to the production. We have to make sure that we don't have any vulnerabilities and no security concerns or any vulnerabilities in that case. Like it is not only just like the software package release or any dependent library is out of I mean the support or any having some support issues. It's not only like that. Even for the password protections, whatever the mechanisms that they're using it, whether IAM or PAM, so they have, I mean, like the mechanism should be followed as part of the security process in DevOps. Now we are calling that DevOps is another evaluation is of DevSecOps, where the security is the major role along with the DevOps process. Just an example, like Facebook deploys updates to the production multiple times per day using DevOps practices. Before DevOps, software releases were slow and risky. Now they are using automated pipelines and monitoring to deploy seamlessly by following this DevOps lines. All right, I'm going to the next slide. So where it is the culture. I mean, like I can say like the DevOps and IT operational works together instead of separately, use a shared responsibility to improve production quality, which is called collaboration. And again, another key term, most of the people are using it as CI/CD. What does it mean? CI/CD is continuous integration and continuous deployment. The continuous integration means like developer, as soon as they do some code changes, they will push the code changes frequently to the repository, but which needs to be tested automatically. And the CD is the deployment, continuous deployment. Code is automatically getting deployed into the different environments, like the staging environment or QA environment and the production. So as soon as developer does some fixes or some enhancements that has to be deployed and tested, those practices automatically taken care by using CI/CD process. And again, like feedback loops, especially when they are doing some changes to the particular bugs or any defects there, what they have identified, that has to be monitored and tested properly. And we have to make sure like before it is affected to the users, it all the fixes has been applied and tested. That can be done through kind of like real-time monitoring. I mean, like the lot of tools are available to find out the bugs in the early stages itself. Yeah, here I can take an example like Google. Um, ensures that 99.99% uptime with automated feedback loops and monitoring alerts, which reduces the downtime and improve reliability, which is another practice of DevOps. So here I can see a lot of collaboration, and also the process has been improved and the loops has been uh, like a feedback loops is playing a major role for the monitoring and alerting for the improvement of um, the features, whatever that they are developing it uh, with rapid iterations. All right, let me move to the other slide, which is life cycle. All these are what I'm covering is like all the basics and the fundamentals of DevOps, like how exactly it is evaluated and the life cycles and the tools used. In case if we need to go with a little deeper, that we can cover in further, but do stop me if you guys have any questions anywhere. All right, coming back to DevOps lifecycle overview. We have DevOps lifecycle like in different stages, like the plan and the development and the build, test, release, deploy, and operate and monitor. So here in this case, like the plan stage, like how we are going to plan it, like what is the project planning, how DevOps is playing into the role. So like what is the tools and mechanisms that they are using it. That is where our Agile, our Scrum, our Kanban methodologies will come. So a lot of people will get confused with the Scrum and Kanban, like because the Scrum is with the sprint plannings and all, it will come, and Kanban is with ongoing activities with the dependencies. So I mean, like both are the components of Agile process, but the methodology will be different for the projects which are in development stage, which are which requires some activities like are the dependencies, are the requirements and collections and all. They will be having the project planning will be their requirements to development stage to from there to testing to the production deployment and all. So I mean even the QA testing and regression testing and all will come into the picture. In that case, uh, mostly people will follow with the Agile Scrum procedures. So the Kanban will be just like they will be planning the I mean like the activities, and they will make sure like they don't have dependencies. If they have the dependencies, then they will put it into the backlogs, and in case if they are not able to make it. But in both these cases, the sprints and cycles are with the 2 weeks window time. Yeah, that we can take a separate session for the planning and all, how the Agile, Scrum, and Kanban methodologies will be applied. Yeah, that is for the planning as a part of this DevOps lifecycle. And again, for the second phase that I can say it is a development. So basically, when we are introducing the DevOps into the process, they will make sure like there is a version control system is placed into the system where it can be handled by using the tools like Git or GitHub or any version control system. I mean, even right now, the GitOps is playing a major role in the infrastructure management side. So that tool needs to be incorporated as a part of our development activity. And coming back to the build, so whatever the developer is developing any code, they have to make sure like they're testing it, and when they are integrating with as a part of CI/CD, they have to integrate it and make sure like that whatever the code that they are developing, it is being compiled and the build is happening properly. It shouldn't create any errors. So for that reason, the build is the process where before checking the code into the version control system, take it as an example like GitHub. If they put their code into the GitHub, they have to make sure like the whatever the code that they are versionizing, it should be buildable. So that automation of the build process by using GitHub or another pipeline is Jenkins is performed and it is not throwing any error, then only it is allowed to versionize it. So that is the build process that needs to be defined as part of the life cycle and tests. Coming back to the test, it lot of testing tools are available uh, based on the functionality and the uh, environment or the organizational preferences, like Selenium, JUnit, and all. They will run automated tests. So that has to be planned in proper way. It's a part of life cycle again in the release. So whatever the artifacts that they are using it for the release, right? So especially like version control system that they might be using it their own or anything. But here in this case, like artifacts which they are using, it can be used by that has, I mean, that those artifacts can be stored in JFrog or Nexus, just an example. Similarly, we can use other tools as well. And after the release, even the part of the process and the product, they have to make sure like whatever the release features that contains and release notes is available and it is uh, I mean like it is configured properly and also versionized and it's a part of build and release part. So for after that release, after verifying it, before making it as the product, yeah, after testing, it has to be deployed in the sense like where it is going to deploy. It can be deployed into the staging system or I mean like a staging system is the one where it is before pre-production, or some people will call it as a QA, where it will be verify all the functionality before production. Pre-production environment is staging or the QA. So that has to be done as a part of the deployment, whether we are using it the Kubernetes containerization or I mean Docker containerization or Kubernetes um, uh, orchestration. In this case, anything that we can use it, but we have to plan it properly as a part of life cycle. Again, coming to the next phase is the operation, like how we are going to monitor this system after deployment, whether it is in stage or the production. What kind of monitoring tools that we are going to use it? What is the observability that we can get it? What is the tool that it is going to support? Whether it is a Dynatrace or a Datadog or New Relic or Prometheus or any in-house Grafana tools that is available, it is working properly, it has been integrated. So that integration is operation that I can say like just to see the health of the deployment or the package which we are developed into the production or the stage should be monitored. Again, it's a final stage that I can say it as monitoring. Like whatever the monitoring tool that we have introduced, whether it is logging properly, and when there is a problem, it is identified or detected, it has the facility that it can detect that particular problem and create an incident with the plausible ITSM tools or any logging tools, any incident management tools. Elk Stack is another tool that people will be using, especially for monitoring and logging mechanism, where it can pull the logs and it can analyze it, I mean, by using the automation methods. And then you can identify it. And even during the problem identification and incident management time also, it will be detected and provide the required logs to the user or the developer who is going to fix that problem. Will do the basic triage and it can provide the details. And also by using these logs, developer or the fixes that he can identify it and he can do the quick fixes on it. So all this we need to follow as part of DevOps lifecycle overview. Yeah, just an example like Netflix automates the deployment using Kubernetes and Jenkins just to ensure like the downtime during this feature rollouts. I mean, ensuring like zero downtime. And it's I mean like they don't want to interrupt their service while they are fixing any of this problem. So all this automation deployments are using Kubernetes and the Jenkins. So Kubernetes is like the orchestration tool that they are using it, and Jenkins that they are using it for the CI/CD build and test release process. So I mean, like that is how the DevOps life cycle and the tools and the process which have been uh, defined as part of life cycle will be, I mean, like using by Netflix team. And also these are the basic stuff we need to follow as a part of life cycle in the DevOps. I'm going to the next presentation. Yeah, I think we were talking about the CI/CD pipeline, which we were saying like the version control system as well as with the uh, other build and release test process that we are, I mean, like as a part of the practice, like people are using it with the different mechanisms or the tools. So here, like as I specified, like automatically builds and tests that can be done as part of continuous integration, and the deployment of the code is automatically to the different environment like stages, I mean like a stage environment or the QA environment to the production is a part of um, continuous deployment. And here the best practices that I can say, um, I mean like fast and modular if we are going with the DevOps process. And also we can see like the benefits, automate unit integration and the security testing. Uh, Also, here in this case for the infrastructure support, so there is a terminology that we are calling it as infrastructure as a code to maintain the environments, whether it is a test environment or development environment or QA environment, a stage environment. Again, I mean like a production environment. Most of the production environment mostly requires as per the requirement of the customer. But stage and all may not be that much, but that can be possible by using infrastructure as a code to maintain that environment. Terraform is playing major role nowadays, which is a cross-platform tool that their people are using it, and it is very efficient. And also native of AWS, AWS Cloud Formation is again another technology people are using it for the AWS as a part of IAC, I mean infrastructure as a code. And Azure has Azure management. And again, um, other Google has automation manager, so which also supports the IAC activity. So for the deployment side, like the CI/CD pipelines, Amazon uses CI/CD pipelines to deploy the features multiple times per hour while maintaining high availability. So, I mean, pipelines generally for the automation, build, test, and deployment with best practices, with whatever the agility that it can incorporate for the automation, I mean, with the different environments and the deployments by using IAC to align with the security compliances is the um, basic, or I can say like the framework for the CI/CD pipelines. All right, I'm going to the next slide. Yeah, so what are the tools available in the industry? So like especially for the DevOps side. So version control system that I have specified it as a Git here, but Git, GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, even um, even other version control VCS tools are available, which can be used as a part of version control system. And again, CI/CD automation side, like GitHub has their own actions, Argo CD has their own actions, and also Jenkins support a lot in the CI/CD for the build and deployment side. Again, containerization, like just to build the packages, just for a single containers, Dockers will support, and also Podman, which is a combination of Linux, which supports as a to build the packages. For the deployment, like what are the container orchestration is required for to deploy the packages into the environment, or the scalability or maintainability, or I can say like increase the efficiency. Containers will be orchestration is will play major role. And as of now, the Kubernetes and OpenShift is playing major role for orchestration. And again, coming back to our infrastructure as a code, as I specified, like Terraform and AWS CloudFormation and Azure Biceps, as well as Azure Automate, Azure DevOps, and Google Automation Manager is playing a major role for this provisioning of the infrastructure as a part of infrastructure as a code. As you all know that the configuration management is also part of um, DevOps. Like when there is a problem, not the problem, I mean like when the application is deployed or particular infrastructure has been deployed, then we should do some configuration activities, or we should apply some configurations. That can be automated by using different tools like tools are the scripting, I can say like Ansible, Puppet, and Chef. And coming back to the monitoring side, like what exactly the tools like as I specified earlier, like Dynatrace, Datadog, New Relic, Prometheus, Grafana, SolarWinds, Nagios, all of the monitoring will come as a part of the monitoring. And examples that I can say like GitOps tools like Argo CD automates the Kubernetes deployments and making app rollouts efficient and reproducible. So these are the, I mean, tools available in the market that we can use it as a part of DevOps tools and while we are planning for the DevOps activities and the landscape. I'm going to the next slide. We have a time constraint. Even I think you might have seen that it is popped up like we have only 5 minutes left. But if you have any questions, please post me for the chat and LinkedIn. I will also post my YouTube channel as well in the LinkedIn. You please just join there. Yeah, so just a recap, like what are the things that we have discussed today? What is the DevOps culture and what is CI/CD and what are the automation tools available? And how, I mean, like probably we can have some more sessions, how we can set up a Jenkins CI/CD pipelines and how the containerization app will be deployed by using Docker containers and Kubernetes orchestration that we can talk on as a part of our next sessions. Yeah, before closing the session, I mean, like if you have any question, just quickly put it into the chat. We can talk on that. And in case if it is stopped, maybe in next 2 minutes, don't get surprised. It will be stopped, and it's I mean, like the duration for this Zoom meeting is only for the 40 minutes. Okay, I'm open to the forum now because we have 5 minutes, looks like, so we can talk now. Yeah, any questions? Let me check. I think some questions that has been pasted in the chat window. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
sir, I don't have any question about the themes and descriptions you have provided about fundamentals on DevOps. But
Mhm.
I was just curious about to know that what could be the current job market for DevOps engineers. That
DevOps
is
is
in
DevOps has a lot of no, market now. The reason is like everything is whether it is server based or serverless or anything for the infrastructure support. If we need um, if we need anything that needs to be deployed, then DevOps will come into the picture everywhere. Like whether it is a agile process or Kanban process, um, DevOps is playing a major role. But some of the additional features are getting added on top of it. One minute, Shivdas. I want to stop recording.